Hey guys, GHAZZY TV here with another Path of Exile video, and in this one, I'm going to talk about 10 quick tips for new and newer or beginner players in Path of Exile. So I've been asked quite a lot about tips for returning players or newer players coming into PoE. The problem is, it's very hard to pinpoint quick tips because of how extremely convoluted or difficult or complex this game can be, but I've done my best to try to get tips that I think is very important to understand coming in from the patch notes in 3.24 Necropolis League. The 10 to 14% movement speed craft that you originally got at the end of Act 2 has now been moved to another stage. You don't run around looking for this. Before you got this at the end of Act 2, leading into the endgame boss of Act 2, now you'll find this in the city of Sarn. So make sure that you know where this is placed and not start looking for it where it's not existing. You are able to block League mechanics with the Atlas tree. Now this is something we knew from the past, but the little change here is that the blocking of League mechanics also blocks the dropping of scarabs associated with that specific League mechanic. Now, obviously, this will be very preferable in the state of the game where the scarabs is now allowing you to further emphasize and improve the efficiency of those specific League mechanics, so you clearly don't want to drop them. But if they are worth a lot of currency and you're looking to make a lot of bank dropping scarabs, you might want to reconsider the blocking of these type of League mechanics to allow you to drop these potentially profitable scarabs. Do keep that in mind. Early game progression of your Atlas has everything to do with two things. One is to accumulate wealth by being able to sell items that will not many days later be worthless to the point of an alchemy orb or straight up just vendoring them. The other important aspect of early Atlas progression is to speed through the map tiers. So to do this, we make sure our maps have increased drop chance for new and higher tier maps. The new Atlas passive keystone node, Unwavering Vision, makes us unable to juice our maps up with fragments other than the Divine Vessels. It also makes scarabs no longer drop. So do keep this in mind, as you're not going to get any currency wealth acquisition from taking this node. In return, however, you do receive 20 Atlas passive skill points, making this a very attractive early game Atlas progression speed up node. Not every Atlas early game skill tree will be taking this node, but it should be absolutely considered. Just don't forget to spec out of it later so you can drop your scarabs. And in the descriptions below, you'll find a link to my guide hub that houses all of my written guides, which includes an Atlas tree guide, providing a ton of different routes and options for both early, mid, and late game progression in the game. Do you want to be ready for the next generation of ARPGs like Path of Exile 2? Or are you just looking for a computer to make sure you can watch your favorite streamer getting drenched, super wet in a French-made outfit in that sweet, sweet hot tub? Well, either way, Starforge has you covered. As you might know, Starforge System offers the best PCs in the entire universe. All PCs are built by hand in Austin, Texas by experienced builders who are passionate about what they do. Starforge is also now offering custom cases and plate lights, whether you want to build a PC yourself or take on the Voyager PC to the next level. I can't believe I got this far into the video without making a dick joke. It's kind of funny. Anyways, the logo is definitely a big hammer. Logo is a hammer. Kickies, make sure you cut this out. Head over to starforgepc.com/GHAZZYTV to get the best PC in the universe right now. A whoop ping, alert, or whatever you want to call the notification sound of a live search alert is a great thing to learn in moving into a new league launch. A whoop is simply the sound that comes from a trade live search, giving you the result allowing you to reach out to the seller in the hopes that you are the first to buy the item for that person. So how do you then set up a whoop search? The first thing you do is make sure that you choose the appropriate league that you're in pathofexile.com/trade. Once you've done this, you might want to search for, let's say, a unique item. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to take a random unique item, let's say an Aegis Aurora or something cheaper or earlier accessible item such as a Tabula Rasa, and then click on this, and then you search for this item. Now that you have created a search for this, you will see the available items. In the early stage of a league, there is more often than not 0 items available. In this case, we have a ton of them. By clicking the Activate Live Search, either doing this, you are now going to allow this specific page to consistently run checks on Tabula Rasas, and whenever someone in the game puts a Tabula Rasa up for sale, it will show up here in a little window, and a little whoop sound will play, and you can then reach out to that person trying to buy this item. And this is something you can do with rare items as well, not just for tabulas or uniques in general. So when it comes to the approach of doing this with rare items, the recommendation is to set up a search for example, your 6-link item that you might need later in the game. So I'm going to quickly show you how to do that as well. And yes, indeed, you can have multiple pages of this up on your web browser. So if you're looking for a 6-link body armor for the sake of your build with the correct colors, which normally are very much cheaper than non-corrupted versions as to buy them corrupted, you will search for the item category and look for a body armor. Then you will look at the link section in socket filters and click minimum amount of links 6. For the sake of the video, I am currently looking for a chest that has 3 blue, 2 red, and 1 green socket by adding these numbers in here. Then by clicking search, you'll see that this will tell me a long list of items that is basically matching the filters I set, which is 3 blue sockets, 1 green, and 2 red. And these are, as you can see, corrupted items, as cheap as 5 chaos. Then I can put up this by clicking on the live search to get that whoop search going on. So whenever that item comes up for sale, I can then reach out to that person and buy that item. Besides the whoop searching for a cheap 6-link item, you can farm specific divination cards, either for the sake of profit, or to create a 6-link item for your own sake. The website divcards.io is a great tool which will help you determine exactly which zones or maps that desired card will drop from. To name a few commonly farmed divination cards that yield 6-link body armors, you can always look at Emperors of Purity by simply searching in this bar and click on the Emperor of Purity, and it will tell you which maps in the current league that will actually drop those cards. The other cards will be Celestial Justicar, for example, The Chains That Bind, and Dapper Prodigy. There are a handful more, and also a bunch of cards providing 6-link outcomes of different weapons. Early game is an absolutely amazing time to play Path of Exile, as everything you get your hands on mostly has value to it, as everyone is still looking for movement speed boots or getting an item with both life and resistant modifiers on. To maximize your efficiency when playing, it is always recommended not to idle around, and the expression hideout is lava. The less time you spend in your hideout and more time spent killing monsters in your maps means you're just progressing your character and Atlas faster, but also the amount of currency you're getting will follow. Obviously, there are a plethora of currency making strategies, and not all of them would follow the rule of hideout is lava. Luckily, I have a ton of guides in my guide hub, which includes currency farming strategies you could opt into and utilize for your own adventures. Do check out the link in the descriptions below the video. As you progress the early parts of the campaign, you normally use a simple life or mana flask, and these are naturally upgraded as you continue to progress through the campaign. One thing that is easy to miss is the strong modifiers these flasks can bring to your character overall strength progression. Most notably, towards the end of Act 4, you will begin to see a lot more enemies causing you to bleed, making a bleed removal flask more and more attractive, sometimes life-saving. Not long after this, you'll also engage with enemies doing bigger damage hits, which will increase your desire to have at least one life flask, providing an instant life recovery. These small adjustments are simple recommendations to making the campaign easier as well as the endgame. Now, the campaign isn't the only place that is commonly missed when it comes to the progressional path of your flask upgrading. Even during the early stage of mapping, where you are expected to upgrade your character's gear, you should always include your flask in the topic of gear, as they can bring significant benefits in terms of both offensive, defensive, and quality of life scaling modifiers. I hope this video proved to be useful for at least some of you guys out there, and if you managed to listen to my annoying voice for this entire video, I would appreciate if you spent 2 seconds to hit the like button, subscribe for more content, leave a comment down below if you have any other tips that you think would be useful for new and newer players watching this video. I appreciate the support very much, because it does very much support the channel, much more than you think. Thank you so much for your time. I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, as always, stay safe, keep rocking.